different one.
Good morning, everyone.
Morning.
7 a.m. just after. We're going live. We're going to get a great home workout in today. I've got a few guests that might be and I've got a different angle for our workout this morning. You're getting the other half of our apartment. The other half. You can see some chairs stacked behind us. Central oil collection right there. But yeah, so what do you need for this workout? You just need a body. That's all you need for this workout. We're going to do a bunch of different exercises that don't require you to use anything. The other thing it's going to require is a mind, because I am going to direct your focus to using certain muscles, and there are certain things I want you to feel. I want you to feel things squeeze, like when you make a bicep, I might try to point out a muscle and maybe even put your hand there and say, I want you to feel this muscle tighten up as you perform this exercise. One other thing to think about is you're probably not going to sweat during this workout. Probably not. Do you see Leah? Yes. But this happens to me all the time, especially when I first start training someone. They go, but Patrick, it's too easy. Hold up. Just give it a chance. Some ladies, and I was having them do some of these exercises where they're holding, and some ladies, and I was having them do some of these exercises where they're holding, and same reaction. They thought it was no big deal. And here's the funny thing: is the next day they went, I couldn't believe how sore I was the next day. Now, I'm not saying soreness is a good thing or bad thing right now. Just leave it at that. But what was happening is they were working much harder than they actually realized. But they weren't sweating. They weren't going, and that's okay. The point of today's workout is not to do that stuff, okay? I just came off an ultra last week. I'm sure many of you have been doing some heavy-duty, hardcore, don't normally work on. So that's what we're going to be doing today. All right, so let's get after it. Feel free to comment. It's live. I'm even giving you permission to heckle me. If you can say things like, this is too easy, or whatever you want. Ask questions, make requests. It's all good for all one of you that are out there right now. All right, let's get going. And this is my lovely assistant, Leah. Okay, guys, we're going to start head and neck. We're going to work our way down the body to start warming up some different positions, okay? And we're just going to kind of flow and go with this. So we're going to start with just some neck motion. All right, so we're just going to turn the head and neck to the right. We're going to hold for 5 seconds. And then we'll slowly turn back to the other side. As you turn, make sure your shoulders don't turn with you. Make sure your hips don't turn with you. We'll go to the other side. Also, how far should you go? You should go as far as you feel comfortable. I'm trying to listen or feel when my neck starts to feel like it's starting to stretch, and I try to back off a little bit and stay in that position. You should feel very comfortable moving in and out of these positions. So let's say for you start feeling resistance here, and you're going, I can't get further. That's okay. Only go as far as your body's going to allow you to go. Good. Let's go the other way. This will be our last one. And then come on back to center. All right. Now let's do some side bending or neck tilting. It's actually called cervical lateral flexion, but you can call it whatever you want. And you're going to turn your head one direction. Again, only as far as your neck will allow. Hold that position. And also, if you're dropping on the workout, feel free to say hi if you want to. Again, feel free to ask questions. Maybe I'll have some answers. Feel free to put a Jack Handy quote in there. Good. Let's go the other way again. And I'm turning my head. Notice my shoulders are staying still. My face is staying towards the screen. It's easy to look down or up. You want to kind of keep your face parallel with the screen you're looking at. Or pretty darn close anyways. Cool. Let's do one more each direction. There's another guy I trained who he has a hard time doing this, and I gave him the cue to think about marbles falling out of his ear, and that seemed to really help. So if you need to imagine Skittles or marbles falling out of your ear, if they were Skittles, you might start going, so don't do that. I think Leah just gave me a pity laugh. Was that a pity laugh, Leah? Maybe. Good. And rest it. Okay, cool. Now we're going to tilt the head forward and then tilt the head back. I'm going to do this sideways so you can kind of see this. And see how I'm tucking here? Kind of getting my chin to my sternum. And then I'm turning my head back. And again, you're only going as far as you feel comfortable. You shouldn't feel anything stretching or straining. Someone else I'm training, they were not able to do this the first time I worked with them. This is several weeks ago. And just for doing things like this, they can now get their chin to their chest. Just from doing these simple motions. Let's do this one more time, each direction. Yeah. Cool. Can rest it. So those are our neck motions. Super simple stuff. Again, just visiting these different ranges is going to help you maintain range of motion in your neck throughout your life. And of course, we're just using this stuff as a warm-up for now. Let's actually go down to your shoulder blades and shoulders. We'll start with our 4 directions that many of you probably already know. We're going to go forwards and backwards, okay? Forwards, we'll hold for 5. And backwards, hold for 5. Good. Forwards, hold for 5. Hey, looks like we've got some other friends out there. Hello, welcome. And backwards. And again, if you're just joining us, we're doing some just really simple active range of motion exercises for our warm-up. No passive stretching here. Actively moving our bodies into different positions. And we're going to do a real gradual warm-up, focusing on each area of your body, preparing it for our workout. And all this stuff should feel really good. Again, when you're moving back and forth between these positions, you're only going as far as your body feels comfortable, as far as your shoulder blades feel comfortable. For example, if I'm going forward and I go, ow, oh, that doesn't feel good, I probably shouldn't keep moving into that position. I'm only going to move just up until that point so it doesn't hurt. Cool. All right, we did a bunch of those. Let's go up and down now. So you're going to shrug your shoulders up, and then we'll shove your armpits down. So shrugging up, we'll hold for a little bit. Good, now let's drive the shoulder blades down, shove the armpits down. Can you see the difference in that? Here's my shoulders relaxed. Here's me pushing them down. It's a very subtle difference, but it is different. Let's shrug it up. Also, if you're just joining us, make sure to like and subscribe to these great videos. Good, shoving it down again. Let's just do one more of these each direction, so we'll move it up. Good, and then let's push it down. Cool. Now, after doing those 4 directions, I like doing some just shoulder blade kind of circles. So I'm sure you're familiar with these, but we're going to go through all of those 4 positions, but in a continuous motion. Now, again, notice how my shoulder blades are leading the way, not my arms. My arms are just kind of along for the ride. Good. Now let's reverse it. Now, as I come forward, I'm going to start shoving my shoulder blades down. They're staying down, and we'll offset it. You're going to start getting a little more torso motion, but again, emphasize the shoulder blades, and then let's go forward. You might feel a little uncoordinated as you do this. That's okay. Just try to get it done. Good, and rest it. All right, let's do a move into our shoulders. We'll be a little more intentional with our shoulders, not just our shoulder blades. You're going to tap your shoulder with your fingertips, and watch, my elbow is going to move forward and up, and then it's going to turn at the top and come back over to my head. Here's what I mean. It's going forward and back into my side. Let's do that again. And of course, as you do this, you're trying to kind of touch the perimeter of these extremes of the range of motion. Just like if you were inside a circle and you were reaching out to a circle and trying to touch the perimeter, that's really what we're doing with this elbow. We're making kind of a circle or more of an oblong kind of shape. And we're trying to touch the perimeter and maybe even try to expand the perimeter. Good, let's reverse it. Nice and slow. And that should feel really good. Cool. All right, let's take it down. Let's do the other side. Again, I'm going to tap my shoulder. Elbow's going to go forward, up and back, turning it. Good. Listening to your body as you do this. Just pay attention to it each time. It might start loosening up and feeling better. Then you can kind of gently move into it. But if it doesn't feel good to move into an extreme position, for example, maybe it doesn't feel good right there, I'll take my elbow a little forward and just kind of avoid that position for now. And then maybe I'll gently start working into it. Good, let's reverse it. Let's just do one more. And that feels awesome. Cool. All right, let's move down into our torso. So, Leah, when we do these torso motions, we're focused on the torso. Should my hips be moving?
No.
It should not be moving, okay? So we're going to keep your hips still. All right, so arms across. We're going to start with some twists. And notice how my hips are not going to move. When my pelvis moves, my knees follow along, so I shouldn't see any movement in my knees as I twist. Again, just moving as far as you feel comfortable. We're going to do 4 different pelvic positions, or trunk or torso positions. Just holding for a few seconds, maybe 5 seconds or so each way. And take your time as you're moving into these positions. Again, as you're moving in and out of these positions, it gives you a chance to listen to your body, to see what's going on, to see what things feel like. And of course, after we've gone through this whole workout today, we're going to do a ton of isometrics. This is going to give you some tools, some isometric tools to help strengthen, help warm up these different positions and just strengthen these different positions. So if you're warming up on your own in the future and you're doing some of these, morning Talia, and you're doing some of these and you notice, oh, that side's a little stiffer than the other. You can pull out a tool out of your tool bag, an isometric or a contraction tool or something like that, and you can actually warm up that spot very specifically. So these kinds of workouts are super easy to do, super easy to remember, and pretty simple to execute. So it should feel pretty empowering to do some of this stuff on your own. Okay, that's our rotation. Let's go into our side bending. Again, my pelvis is going to stay still, and I'm just going to turn. Now notice I'm not leaning into it like that. I'm not leaning. I'm actually taking my rib cage. Think of it as a side. How far should you go? Just as far as your body's going to allow you. Not really forcing your way into the positions. You want to feel like your body is inviting you into the position. Awesome. Okay, let's move into our forward backward. So you're going to collapse. Again, I'm going to turn my rib cage forward. I'm going to hold for a moment. And then now watch my back. I'm going to turn my rib cage up. And it's going to extend. Looks like my connection's getting a little choppy. Looks like there's a little bit of delay, but I think we'll be okay. We'll just keep going back and forth between those 2 positions. Now, as I'm arching, notice how my chest is lifting up. So one good cue is to think about your sternum or your chest lifting up to the ceiling. And we'll keep working it back and forth between those positions. Again, only moving as far as your spine and your back feel comfortable both directions. Moving your pelvis, turning it, tipping it, just like we were with the rib cage, okay? Now your chest is going to stay relatively still. Let me go sideways again. So we're going to go front to get this to move underneath me. So this is fixed. All of my rib cage, my chest is fixed in space. My pelvis is moving underneath me. Man, I'm really limbering up today. This is great. Leah, how's that going back there?
Okay.
It's okay. And again, if it's okay if you have a hard time doing these,
Yeah.
the putting the effort in and being intentional, you'll get a little better at it. Okay, now this is the fun one. We're going to try to do a pelvic circle. Okay, so check it out. We're going to go through all 4 positions, or all 3 positions, same position on either side. We're going to try to move that pelvis around. Can you kind of see that? I'm going to go sideways. Do my little pelvic tilts on either side. Okay, let's reverse it. What's really crazy is your pelvis is made to move like this. And they do it real violent and jerky. And I saw some guy on the trail the other day. He was just going, yep, okay. Get my knees warmed up. Good to go. Knees, balance. Real simple little warm-up drill. We're going to balance on your right leg. You're going to lift your knee up a little bit. And real simple, you're just going to bend your knee. Higher the knee goes, the more difficult this one becomes. I'm just keeping my knee low right now because I'm just warming up. So we're warming up your quadriceps and warming up your hamstrings. And of course, we're starting to get all of my lower leg muscles on the side that I'm balancing. Okay, let's go to the other side. Same thing. Knees coming up a little bit. Just straighten it out. I'm going to bend it. Sorry, I'm talking and not holding long enough on these. But again, if you're person to person, depending on the goal, the activity you're doing, your body, it's going to change. It might even change day to day, how much of these you need. I mean, I end up giving someone a recommendation based on observations, but you gotta feel these things out. What does your body need? All right, cool. So we got to the knees. Let's go down to the ankles, lower legs. These will be tough to see, but we're going to do some just gentle ankles. My body will do some of that, but I'm going to try to tilt my feet. So my right foot, if you can see my inside edge is pulling up, but I'm not leading with my body, if that makes sense. I'm actually leading with my feet and ankles. That's what's initiating the motion. Let's go to the other direction. Now, what's kind of cool is almost everything we're doing standing up. We'll get, just how it feels a little bit, and it changes the challenge a little bit. Good, let's do a couple more of these. Good, that should feel really good. All right, let's go forward and backwards. So up onto the balls of the feet. Just for a moment, you don't even have to go up as high as you can, and heels. Good, balls of the feet. Heels. Okay, let's rest it. Now we're going to combine some of these motions. So we've done everything very individually, piece by piece. We're going to get into some other movements that are going to combine some of the things that we just did, okay? So going a while back, you might remember this one from a previous video. We're doing this side bending. I'm going to bend, and I'm going to follow my arm. So it's going to open my chest up to my right a little bit. And I'm only moving as far as my torsos and shoulders allow me to move. Okay, let's do the same thing, but now that bottom arm is going to reach behind. And again, my torso is going to follow my hand, so I'm going to twist the other direction. And again, if any of these positions don't feel comfortable, instead of bailing out, try just not moving as far. Cool. Bring it to a rest. All right, here's another one. We're going to take the arms up. rest. Let's do one more with the arms. We're just going to tearing it up. Running around our apartment complex like crazy. Let's do one more each side. And hopefully those shoulders and shoulder blades and everything are really starting to feel good. Maybe even worked a little bit. Okay, we're going to start moving into another warm-up exercise that, again, is combining some of the other motions we've done. So we're going to do a squat, but I'm going to add some different things with the torso and with the upper body. So let me stand sideways real quick. Knees, ankles, and hips, and kind of feel that out. So as we're going along, feel free to try different positions, okay? Now check out what my arms are going to do. As I squat down, my arms are not just going to reach out. I'm going to try to lift them all the way up. I'm going to hold and then slowly come back up. So again, each of these warm-ups that we're doing, if you notice, they're successively getting harder and harder. I still wouldn't call this challenging, but it's becoming a little more challenging, right? You okay? Shoulders feel good. And you can probably see it, but I'm successively getting a little deeper each time. But Patrick, you're leaning forward. Your torso is supposed to be upright. That's a long conversation. I'm not going to get into it today. But depending on the ratio, the lengths of your segments of your body is going to determine how much of a lean you're going to, how wide your legs are is going to determine the lean of that torso. So just do what's comfortable for you right now. And if you want to have that conversation with me, feel free to make a comment below. This way, so my femur is actually turning out, but my lower leg, notice how it's coming in. So I'm going to turn. And now watch what I'm going to do with my arms. I'm actually going to turn my arms outward. And I'm going to hold that position. This looks like a funky yoga pose. It's not. I'm just paying attention to my body, seeing how it moves. I'm going to unturn everything. Then we'll go to the other side. I'm going to lift it up. I'm going to turn. Again, as I turn that, I'm going to turn my arms outward. I'm going to hold that. Higher I lift my knee, the more challenging or difficult this exercise becomes. Height to go, it's just what you can do. Let's do one more the other side. Good. Now we'll do the other direction. So you'll take this leg up, and that femur now is going to turn inward. So my lower leg's going to go out. Now I don't have much motion here, so check it out. That's all I got. So if you got more, go for it. So as I turn, you got it. I'm going to turn my arms in. Holding that position. Good. Let's relax. Let's go to the other side. Pay attention to my body, which is kind of difficult as I'm talking to everyone out there. I'm also trying to feel what my muscles are doing. This is the first spot where I really pay attention to those things. So for me personally, I can feel this muscle. It doesn't feel great when I get into that position. It feels limited, restricted. I might spend a little more time warming up that area. Say I'm getting ready for a race or a workout. I might do some specific things to get that guy. Squat. And now we're going to do squats as deep as you can. So we're going to try to get your butt to the ground. Now, if you can't get your butt to the ground, that is totally fine. You're just going as low as you can. Your arms can do whatever they need to do. Again, I'm going to go to my normal stance where I'm a little wider than hips. My feet are actually turned out. My knees are actually going to go outward a little bit. For you, if a narrower stance works better for you, go for it. Pushing my butt back, coming all the way down. Good. Slowly coming up. Let's do it again. Yeah, it's really cool. My because of this gradual warm-up we're doing, usually my knees and ankles are cracking a little bit, which is pretty normal, especially as you get into later stages in life. But man, right now they're not making a sound. Okay, so I'm going to tilt the camera hips, move up to the core, and then we'll go shoulder blades. And I might change the order as I'm thinking about this, but I think that's what we're going to do. Okay, some of you probably know what I'm going to do. We're going to do that 4-way hip
those 4-way hip exercises, and we'll change it up a little bit as we go. But let's start with this one. Legs straight. You're going to lift the leg up, keeping this leg stiff, abs fairly tight, and you're just going to hold. Now I've got my watch going. We're going to try to hold this 30 to 40 seconds. I'm trying to feel this hip flexor or hip flexors kicking in. I'm just going to onto these muscles. You might feel a little bit here, but try to take the focus off your quad and put it right here, right in your hip. And hold that. And that was 40 seconds. Good. All right, let's do the other side. Same deal. I'm lifting up. Notice how my pelvis stays still. I'm putting the focus here. Good. Again, feel it's just straight on, straight up and down, feeling these muscles. For a different challenge, you can actually add some rotation, which we probably won't do today. Good. And that is 40 seconds. Okay, we're going to roll over onto our tummies. We're going to lay face down. We're going to do this same thing, lifting the leg. Now notice when I go to lift, I don't want to roll my lower back or pelvis. I want to keep that nice and still. So I may not lift up very high. You may not lift up very high. That's okay. So keep this calm. Straighten the leg. I'm going to lift it up. So I'm trying to feel my butt and my hamstring kicking in. I'm going to hold that position. Now again, if you're doing these at home right now, or you're watching this in recording later, you might be surprised how difficult it is to just hold the weight of your own limb up. That's okay. Maybe you can't go 30 or 40 seconds. Maybe just go 10 seconds or 5 seconds. That is totally fine. Maybe your leg doesn't even leave the ground. That's okay. Just intend to get it off the ground. Feel those muscles contract. And it's still going to be helpful. Cool, that's 40. Okay, other side, same thing. Straightening it out, lifting it up. Feeling that butt, feeling the hamstring. Again, what I love about these exercises is they don't require any equipment, just a body and a mind to focus on what's working. All really simple stuff. A little different than my left. I'm starting to shake a little bit, so I'm actually going to lower it just a tiny bit, and the shaking goes away. And as we approach 40 seconds, I might try to take it back up, and it feels a little better. Top leg. I'm just going to lift that leg up. Notice my pelvis is staying vertical. I'm not tilting it this way or that way, or forward or backward. Now again, you might lift up a little higher. I notice this when a lot of women do this. They let their pelvis go back and they go, wow, look how high I can get. That's not impressive because you're working the wrong thing. Keep your pelvis up and down like this. And don't roll into this position. That's hip flexor again, right? Yeah, keep that pelvis nice and vertical. You doing okay over there, Talia? Good, and that's 40 seconds. Okay, I'm going to cross it over. Watch my bottom leg. Just going to lift it up. And I'm going to hold this position. Working our adductors, the adductor group. Now, as you're lifting, really try to keep the focus on the muscles in the hip that are lifting you up. I even notice myself doing this sometimes. Is I'm like pulling with my foot. The foot and lower leg aren't doing anything. But myself and then others I've trained, they might get like a lower leg cramp because those lower leg muscles are trying so hard, and the lower leg muscles can't do anything in this scenario. All they can do is hold the foot up, but the foot is fine just hanging out. So I want to keep all my focus in here on these adductor muscles kicking in, okay? Or you want to keep your focus there. All right, let's switch to the other side. Okay, here we go. Same thing. Pelvis staying nice and vertical. Not rolling my pelvis forwards or backwards. And this, how high you go is up to you. I'm just going as far as it feels comfortable, and I start to feel that muscle kick in. Really feel this kick in. Now, I didn't do this on the other side, but as I go along, I might take it up a little higher. It kicks in a little more. Might take it up a little higher. Oh, that's feeling good. Good, and that's 40 seconds. Cross it over, and we'll lift that bottom side. Lifting it up. Again, my foot is relaxed. Hey, you see a foot peeking through the screen? That's my daughter Talia's foot. Usually my daughters jump into the workout. They look a little tired today. Good, we're almost there, just keeping that leg up. Now again, on my right side, that's interesting. I'm starting to shake at this position again. So I'm going to lower it a little bit. I don't want to feel a lot of shaking. That's feeling pretty good. And then the last couple of seconds, I'm going to lift it up again. And that feels a little better. Good, rest. And that was a foot brushing my head if you saw that. Cool, all right, we're going to do the first one. I'm going to do a basic crunch. Arms across. I'm not going to lead with my head. I'm going to lead with my rib cage, and I'm just going to hold the position, okay? Now we're going to do the same thing. We're going to try to hold for 40 seconds. Now, if your neck starts bugging out and getting a little tired, nothing wrong with this. That's all right. I like to try to work my neck, not strain it, but challenge my neck a little bit as I'm doing these. And I'm squeezing here. Try to get a little further. Cool, we're already at 25 seconds. Now, again, if you can, don't throw your head forward, but see if you can take your ribs or your chest a little further forward and hold that position. Cool. And slowly come down. All right. Slowly come down. Seconds, we'll see how it's going. I probably should grab my watch so I can see the time. Yeah. And again, another note on time. If I'm doing these on my own, I might have a clock going, but I'm not going to hold it for a set period of time. I'm just going to feel it out, especially if I'm really trying to challenge myself. I might see if I can just get to fatigue even, which sometimes can be a long time. Good, we're almost there. We got about 20 seconds. And again, it's hard to see on the video, but I'm actually trying to move further up into the position as the set goes on.
Check this out. If I lift this leg up, I will fall this direction. Watch how my hips have to shift this way. See that? See how there's this inward angle of my leg?